Palace and see Herbie Hyde's fight here tonight against Alex Vasiliev, who's also from Russia. So you've seen Audley. Here's Herbie.
Seconds out.
This is a very important contest for the former two-time WBO heavyweight champion of the world and a former undefeated British champion, Herbie Hyde, in the gold trunks trimmed with black. He's in against a 31-year-old hard man from St. Petersburg in Russia, Alex Vasiliev. And for Hyde, well, he is Danny Williams, the British champion, in the sights to try to regain a British title he held some 10 years ago. How fortunes have changed in many ways for Herbie Hyde since then. Won and lost the championship of the world. Looked as if his career was over, and he's come back. Was supposed to have boxed in Norwich in July, but didn't make it. It's a good start by Herbie Hyde. Good, crisp, accurate punching by the former world champion. And my goodness, Duke, doesn't he look purposeful?
He does. He looks very, very focused. You know, he's got his hands up nice and high. But Hyde's absolute gift, which he seems to have of most heavyweights, is his speed. He's got very, very quick hands for a big fella.
He's dropped the hands down. That's a little bit more like the Herbie Hyde style we're used to. Tends to hold the hands down low and wide and has relied on his speed. Alas, against two very big men, Mr. Klitschko and Mr. Bowe, his hand speed simply wasn't enough. So Vasiliev is already grimacing because Herbie Hyde has landed with a couple of very good, solid, stinging shots. Vasiliev's got himself caught, and Hyde looks very impressive, and he's really taking this Russian apart in the first round. And Vasiliev here in the UK for the 8th time, and he's been in him again against some pretty good men, is getting caught by great shots by Herbie Hyde.
Hyde knows exactly what's at stake tonight. He knows there's a massive fight down the road against Danny Williams. It's a huge fight domestically, and he wants to get this guy out of there really quick. He's planted his feet really well, and he's looking just to take this guy out.
Well, still a minute to go, and Herbie Hyde has dominated the opening two. Clubbing right hand from the dancing destroyer, as he calls himself. But he's not dancing too much. He's standing fairly square. But those fast hands of his have made such a difference in this opening round. Comes a bit low. Round the side, though. Into the midriff. Good variation from Herbie Hyde.
And this is what we're not used to seeing from Herbie Hyde. He's using body shots, which isn't one of his specialities, but he's planting a nice firm jab, and he's following that with a straight right to the body. It's a good tactic.
Well, he has been working hard in the States under the former world champion Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, who's in his corner. Good solid right went through. There was nothing much Vasiliev could do about that. And look at Herbie Hyde. There's no sign of any emotion on his face whatsoever. And it's a long time since we've seen him just as focused as this, because he knows what's there for him. A crack at the British title. If he could win that, he could then move back into the world rankings. Very impressive 3 minutes from Big Herbie.
Very good, very purposeful, very meaningful round from Herbie Hyde there.
Don't take no risk, Herbie.
Like
Nice
you say,
easy, okay?
he's not taking any kind of a risk. He's staying poker face throughout the whole round, which is what you don't normally get from Herbie Hyde. He likes to, you know, if he gets hit with a shot, he shows grimace. But now he's just been really, really cool about it.
Keep it. I want you to double a jab. You hit it with what? I'm back with the left hook after the right hand. Be out of here. All right, just relax. Chin, you got to be down. All right?
Interesting in the corner from Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, just telling Herbie Hyde to double the jab, but it's been the jab that has been his most potent weapon so far. That was an absolutely cracking, classic, textbook shot from Herbie Hyde. Good footwork by Herbie Hyde. And look at that lovely left hook round the corner, and he's catching the big Russian with just about everything.
Round two.
So Herbie Hyde in those opening 3 minutes certainly looked like a man who'd been on 2 occasions on top of the world, held the WBO version of the World Championship. Still feels he's good enough to be back up there in a division which, well, is very much still there for the taking. Vander Holyfield still battling along at 40 years old. Lennox Lewis not too far from that. 1 or 2 others, not exactly in the first flush of youth. Slap from Herbie Hyde was a low blow there. Vasiliev indicated that he wasn't happy with it. Good right hand from Hyde. Needs to step back a little bit. Keep his hands up. He's always been susceptible to a counter punch.
It's a beautiful right hand Herbie Hyde hit that kid with, right down the pipe. He just hit Vasiliev right down the pipe with the right hand. And to his credit, he's still standing. But you know what? This form Herbie Hyde's showing right now will be the form that he'll need to carry into a big fight with Danny Williams. Because I tell you what, it makes the fight so much more interesting.
Got to say though that in Danny Williams' favour, Danny Williams will perhaps come forward himself and throw a shot or two. Vasiliev has been a little bit slow to the punch and he's falling short. He's a couple of inches taller than Hyde, but not much heavier. Doesn't look as well muscled or as well conditioned as Herbie Hyde. Very, very interesting contest this. It's a completely changed Herbie Hyde in the main. Good footwork by Hyde. That was always one of his great strengths.
He'll need to get his hands up again.
Well, Vasiliev has been in with some pretty useful men in the last 2 or 3 years. He's just come back from a loss in Argentina to the world-rated Fabio Moli. It took him 10 rounds. I don't think he's going to trouble Herbie Hyde for that distance. That's what it's scheduled for tonight here in Alexandra Palace.
Hyde's boxing a very well-educated round this round. He's just moving in and out with quick shots like that. They're beautiful from Herbie Hyde.
Well, that was textbook stuff yet again. That stunning left jab, which put the man on the back foot, and that gives you so many more options.
Absolutely.
Well, Hyde looked as if he might have got his man out of there in the first round, but he's quite happy now just to, I think, get a little bit of ring time. Hasn't been in a ring since May when he avenged a defeat by the Zambian Joseph Chingangu in spectacular style. Good left hand by Herbie Hyde. I don't think there's time for him to finish the job in this round, but Alex Vasiliev, who's a real tough nut, has felt Herbie Hyde's power. Well, there's a little glimpse of the sometimes reckless Herbie Hyde.
Well, you know, that's the Hyde that we're used to. He really is a Jekyll and Hyde. He won't be messed about or take any kind of nonsense. The punches were deliberately thrown after the bell.
Yeah, no. Outside it. You don't need that. After all, there you go.
Herbie, don't be playing his fucking game. You're loads better than that. You're busting him up. You're just standing in front of him.
Well, I've no doubt for a second that Eddie Mustafa Muhammad has been a very calming influence on Herbie Hyde, who sometimes tends to be a little bit on the volatile side.
Herbie Hyde needs somebody like Eddie Mustafa and Muhammad in his corner. You know, that authoritative figure, somebody to calm him, somebody to tell him exactly what he's doing right and what he's doing wrong.
Well, he's not doing too much wrong at this stage. He's dominated the opening 6 minutes of this scheduled 10-rounder. And big Alex Vasiliev has found himself on the back foot all too often. Lovely quick left hand from Herbie Hyde. And again the jab, right to follow.
Hyde's doing a very good job of counter-punching on the attack. He allows Vasiliev to throw shots and he just pulls back slightly and comes back with a crushing right hand like that one.
Vasiliev made to look very clumsy, but Herbie Hyde has got fabulous footwork. He actually moves like a middleweight on occasions, but he does hit like a heavyweight. Remember, of his 34 victories, all but one has been inside the distance. Good variation by Hyde going to the body yet again. Vasiliev's face is starting to redden up. There's a nasty gash in the bridge of his nose, and he's very badly swollen underneath his right eye, and Hyde has been getting to him with terrific regularity and accuracy. That was a bit low.
What Hyde's doing, he's making him miss, making him pay. Every time Vasiliev throws the shot, Hyde just pulls back a little bit and comes back with a lovely counter punch.
Hyde just eased away from that clumsy looking left, telegraphed from a mile away by Vasiliev. Midway through the third, Hyde looks as if he's actually enjoying this. There's that wonderful jab again. He can't miss with it. Needs maybe just to follow it up, but time is on the side of Herbie Hyde.
But that jab is such a hurtful punch from Herbie. It's the speed that he generates from it, and it's so accurate.
Well, this fellow's been here before, remember. He stopped Wayne Llewellyn. He's beaten Harry Sr. and Israel Ajose.
The high jab for me has been the absolute key to this fight so far. He's done everything off of that and it looks really impressive.
Well, we were just talking earlier before this evening's boxing and saying that Hyde seems as if he's been around forever, but then of course he did turn professional at just 18 years of age, way back in 1989. The year that he was ABA runner-up. Good right hand from Hyde. He's a tough character, this Russian Duke.
Oh, he certainly is. He's shipping everything Herbie Hyde is throwing at him right now, but it'll only be a few more rounds that he can actually ship this kind of punishment. Herbie Hyde is boxing absolutely perfect, punch perfect at the moment.
Well, Vasiliev has been stopped on 4 occasions, all by pretty good men. The first away back in Battersea in October '96 in his first visit here, and a good American called Cedric Boswell, who's still unbeaten after 21 pro fights, and I believe is in action this weekend. Beat him. Hyde is just taking his time now and picking his shots. Another good round by Hyde. Didn't quite put the same intensity into it.
Oi, you moved that round, that's better. Come on, don't panic, relax.
You moved that round, that's better. I think they're looking for Herbie just to get a few rounds under his belt and keep him pressing.
It looks that way, it does look that way, but like I say, I don't think that Vasiliev can take much more of these kind of punches. They're too accurate, and his face is really starting to mark up now.
Well, they're working very hard on that already battered face. The nose is grazed and is bruised very badly, and they're working on a little nick underneath the right eye. Look at that jab from Hyde. I mean, that really was a cracker, and it completely rocked the Russian right back on his heels.
Shield. Herbie. Herbie, you got no problems. Do not stand in front. Keep moving.
Seconds out, round 4.
So 3 rounds dominated by the former 2-time WBO heavyweight champion of the world in the gold trunks trimmed with black, Herbie Hyde from Norwich. The self-styled dancing destroyer. He hasn't done that much dancing, but he really has destroyed the homely features of this tough Russian, Alex Vasiliev. And Hyde really going to town once again at the start of this, the 4th. There's little signs still of the old indiscipline from Herbie.
Yeah, just small signs, but you know what? He's pulling back every time Vasiliev throws a shot and crushing home that right hand. It's only a matter of time for the accumulation of the punches take the desired effect.
A little bit on the low side again from Herbie Hyde. Vasiliev, there's still a bit of a bounce there in those legs of his. Maybe he feels that he's taken the best that Herbie Hyde has to offer, and that might just give him a little bit of mental confidence, and that's hugely important in this game, Duke.
Totally, but I can't help but feel that he must be quite demoralised right now, because he's been eating that jab all night long. He just can't seem to get out of the way of it.
Good footwork by Hyde. Vasiliev holding on.
Hyde still got that focus that he started the fight with right at the beginning. He still has that same look in his eye, that same determination and focus is still there.
Always comes in terrific shape, Herbie Hyde. Vasiliev just about half a pound heavier at 15-12 and a half, and that's 9 pounds heavier than he was when he last boxed in June. 9 pounds lighter, I should say. So he's got up for this contest, but he has marked up very badly. Left from Vasiliev was one of his better efforts. I'd like to see more of the right hand of Herbie Hyde. It's been mostly the left and the occasional right.
I'd like to see Hyde put together and sustain a combination of punches now and just see exactly how this guy stands up to the pressure.
Well, at this stage of the contest, I'm sure Hyde in his corner must be thinking that it's time he put this man away if he possibly can. Good work inside by Hyde. Took a right hand by Vasiliev, and it didn't even ruffle his feathers at all. Body shot from Hyde. Once again, Vasiliev in a bit of trouble now. Down he goes. Hyde has got to learn to step back when his man touches the canvas.
But he just bunched in bunches there, put together a nice combination of punches, and Vasiliev just folded.
Lee Cook's had a good look at him. Herbie Hyde has the chance now to finish this, but seconds are ticking away. That was a solid right, and again, referee's not going to let the Russian take any more. 5 seconds remaining. Vasiliev will be very keen to get back to his corner, and Hyde ambles across leisurely.
Just we don't waste nothing.
Job well done.
Yeah. Listen. This is as easy as you want it. Listen to me now. This is as easy as you want it, Herbie. Take it easy. Everybody relax. Come on, no problem.
Well, all the pressure in that run coming from Herbie Hyde, and Vasiliev's guard simply wasn't up to it. There was a round the corner right hand, and Vasiliev was staggered, and he did get clipped. Well, he wasn't down at that stage, so well, the second punch might have been thrown after the opponent had a knee on the canvas.
What's up, man? Where is it?
No. You got a small nick on your nose. Right? Small nick.
Corners 10 seconds.
Herbie a little concerned about how he looks. I don't think he'll have to worry too much about that.
Chin down, right? Double triple jab.
Well, he may not win any beauty contest, but then very few boxers do. But Herbie Hyde is certainly winning this boxing contest, Duke.
Absolutely. Just needs to come out this round and jump straight on Vasiliev and just try and put this fight to a closure. He's got this kid exactly where he wants him now. It's time to show him some feints and step in behind that jab. And the beautiful body shots that he's throwing, the right hand to the body, it's a good shot. They're hurtful punches.
Well, this is maybe not the sort of form that took Herbie Hyde to 2 world titles, but it's certainly good enough to indicate that he's a major force in Britain and Europe, and who knows, maybe at world level again. Those body shots, well, some of them are marginal, but they're taking the steam out of a very brave big Russian. A little bit of blood coming from the nose of Herbie Hyde, but he's taking his time. He's not being drawn into anything. He's dictating the pace of this contest. Oh, solid shots from Hyde. Terrific shots. How is Vasiliev standing? I just don't know.
Hurtful punches.
Oh, referee must step in. He must step in. Well, that's very silly from Hyde. He shouldn't do that. That's the sort of thing that detracts from an absolutely excellent performance, and it's been stopped. Well, it's been stopped. That last extra punch from Herbie was a bit unnecessary. We all understand his anxiety and what's at stake for him, Duke, but let's put that to the side and let's consider how Herbie Hyde performed this evening.
Well, I tell you what, that was the most impressive fight I've seen Herbie Hyde in for a number of years. He boxed with a real controlled head, and he just really, there's only one way to describe it. He battered that kid.
It was a very good performance from Hyde against a tried and trusted and very durable opponent who's been around the world a few times and has been in with some very good boxers. Johnny Nelson, Gorgi Kandelaki, Cedric Boswell, and more recently Fabio Moli in Argentina, but they did not do a number on him the way that Herbie Hyde did here tonight. And despite a couple of minor indiscretions, you cannot take away from Herbie Hyde's performance, and that's going to make a heavyweight or two in this part of the world sit up and think. So Herbie Hyde is back very much with a vengeance. There's a lot more measured performance from him tonight. Influence of Eddie Mustafa Muhammad very, very clear indeed, and Herbie Hyde has won this very, very impressively. Here's how it finished. Hyde coming through. There was a solid right hand, and the Hyde of old would have rushed straight in, but look, he's picking his shots. Variation. There was a right and then an uppercut and then a left and then another right hand, and down went the man, and that's what Herbie Hyde should not have done. He knows the man is on the canvas and he must keep his composure, because that's not going to win him any friends. He certainly won this contest, but let's forget about that last rather naughty last punch. The contest was over as such long before Alex Vasiliev went onto the canvas. There was that extra punch that really could have caused Hyde a lot of problems, but the decision stood.
Herbie, some good rounds under your belt. What did you make of your performance tonight?
I think that's pretty good, because I needed to get some round in. And the first couple rounds, I done my shoulder in with my jab, but I've been working the jab with Howes and Aidan Graham. I'm trying to capitalize with the jab and move, but I couldn't work too hard on it because I think I tore the muscle there. But I just kept doing it. Yeah.
It was all pretty measured. We can see the last round here where it all finished, so maybe you can take it through us.
Well, basically, I knew I was hurting him all the time, but he's a tough guy. Remember, this guy's knocked out. Who's that guy who knocked out, Graham? He knocked out Matt Porter, who was almost knocking out Danny Williams, until Danny had a flick shot and knocked him out. But he knocked out Matt Porter. He's fairly good, but look at me, I'm an arrogant man. See that? I try.
Given that he's so durable, were you careful to just pick your shots? That's what he looked like.
I was trying to get it right. I wasn't tired. Have a look at I wasn't tired at all. I was just moving, trying to get some round down me, because I got a big fight coming up. Maybe perhaps I could find Samuel Sam, Danny Williams. I have a lawyer, my lawyer, John Honower. He's Chris Bird's lawyer too. So he's even talking about me and Chris fighting for war title. So basically, I might even be skipping Danny Williams and Samuel Sam. But it depends if John can make that move. But if, you know.
But we're all talking in this country about Hyde against Danny Williams, and you're saying that you may sidestep Danny.
Yeah, Danny has never done anything. At 22, I was a two-time world heavyweight champion. He lost to Julius Francis, who was a sparring partner. So to me, I don't really, Danny, nobody wants this fight apart from Danny and Danny plus his back manager. It's only him and his back manager want this fight.
When you first made your comeback over here, you were talking about Danny too, quite excitedly. So how come you changed tack?
Danny was saying what he did. I haven't changed tactics. He doesn't. If he can get a deal, we do the battle. Listen, I've been there with the best. What am I worried about Danny Williams for? What has Danny done? He's lost to people like Julius Francis. I mean, what has he done? He hasn't. Danny, whatever Danny do, he could never. My name goes in history. The two-time world heavyweight champion. I was 22 when I lifted the belt. He's 30 years old, he hasn't done nothing. But I was 21 or 20 when I won the British title. I was the youngest ever won the British title. But he can come here and talk nonsense. So if the fight is made, if he's whatever, I'm going to be talking to Mustafa House Graham, my lawyer, Honour, and also my promoter, Mick Hennison. Whichever is the best deal. I'm here to rumble.
But you love the big occasion, and Hyde against Williams in this country would be massive, the biggest fight for years.
Who wants the fight? Do you want the fight?
I think a lot of people watching boxing want the fight for sure.
If people want it, let's get it on. If people want it, that means you're going to have it. If you want it, money's going to come, let's get it on. I mean, to me, Danny wants only Danny and his back manager talking. If you want the match, pay. Money talks, everything else work, you know. So basically, if you bring the money, I'll fight Danny, that ain't no problem. But listen, I've been a two-time world heavyweight champion, British champion. He doesn't really mean nothing to me. Who's Danny Williams? His claim to fame is that he put me down in sparring. What else has he done? Every time he fights, he said, oh, I had a bad night. When did he have a good night? He got knocked out by a plodder. Then he got knocked out by a plodder. Listen, when I fight, Danny's gun shy. Once he got knocked out, look at him, he does. And if the fight goes ahead, don't worry about Danny.
What about looking further down the line then to those making their way up? Audley Harrison won again in Las Vegas last night.
Audley has publicly said he doesn't want to fight me, that he's not ready for it yet. But he always mentioned my name in the papers. Oh, Herbie this, Herbie that. Basically, my message to him is this: shut the hell up until you're ready to put up. He's talking, he want to do battles with me. He wants to do verbal battle with me. He doesn't want to get in action. Danny can slag me off. Danny can talk to me. But Audley has got no right to talk about me, because he has openly said he doesn't want to fight me. So why is he messing around? When he goes to Vegas, he hides from me, because he knows I'm a mad man. He knows I beat the hell out of mad. Danny Williams coming away there. Them guys know. They're not in my league, believe me.
So yes or no, Danny Williams next time out?
If you're ready to pay for it. Listen, I'm a warrior. I fight anybody. Listen, I've been there with best in the world. You know, when I was 22 years old, who's Danny Williams? What has he done? Has he impressed you? Who has he impressed? His claim to fame is you knocked me out. What does that mean? Where you don't get paid in the gym? Ask Jimmy Tibbs. When Jimmy Tibbs brought him in the ring, what happened to him? So basically, anyhow.
Okay, thanks for your time. Well done tonight.
My man, it's success, my man.